So one more. Oop. And fail. Alright, so I'm just going to run through what I've done on my bench. I've set it up to a point where I'm not going too far in, so at least when I lay down, my eyes are going to be level with the bar. So here, as you can see now, as I lay, my eyes are level with the bar. So at least, because the reason why the eyes have to be level with the bar is when you unrack it and you take the bar off, if you pretty much are unracking it where your chest is right underneath the bar at the start position, you're not going to have this clearance here. You're going to be stuck with this here. And then you start doing reps and you're going to start doing these ones. And you're going to start hitting sticks. See? So that's why always have your eyes fully level with the bar. So that there, I'm going to line it up as well. So on here, if you look at it, you got all these little lines and stuff that you can follow to get your hand position even. So there, I'm going to go my thumb from the edge, close grip around, thumb, close grip around, so it's even at that point there. The main purpose of this one is to make sure that my elbow is right underneath my wrist at all times. So I'm not putting my shoulder in a vulnerable position. So from here, if you look at it, I'm coming straight down. I like to tuck my head up through here, coming straight down, wrist in line, rough mid-chest or lower, roughly where the nipples are. Everyone's a little bit different depending on how much angle you put your shoulders, your elbows at for the shoulder. And just remember, the more higher to 90 is the more vulnerability on the shoulder. The lower, the more enclosed, like say if you bring your triceps, your elbows closer in, you're gonna be going more triceps. So at that point there, you wanna kind of go medium phase. I do it like at a 30, 40 degree, 45, 50 degree angle from the shoulder, maybe even 60, closer to 60. So from there, if you watch, down and up. Nice and smooth, no pure lockouts, and I'll explain the reason this in a little bit, why we don't lock the elbows out, but keeping the elbows soft, so coming through, and keeping the wrist strong, right, with that closed grip. Now, if you notice here, if you look at my lower back, it's nice and flush. If you can't keep it flush, you can bring your feet up. When you bring your feet up, that neutralizes the hips. And a lot of the times, if you go here and you got this arch happening through here, that tells us that you've got a lot of tight hip flexors, and that needs to be released, which we can go through and release those when it comes to that. But if you haven't had them release, bring your feet up. Now that's going to neutralize the hips. That's going to make everything more stable in that sense and flat. And then from here, the reason why I lift my neck off the bench is if you look at my shoulders, a lot of the times when you see people bench, when they get fatigued, they're going to start arching just in order to try and push it up, right? But if you lift your neck a little bit, that's where now it locks my back into place, so it's nice and flush into the bench, and I'm actually able to really squeeze through my chest in order to push the weight up. So from there, we'll add some weight and let's do a warm-up set. So, now I can't stress enough, everyone's got a different warm-up weight. So for me, I'm going with 60 kilos. I know it's a little bit on the higher end, but again, you got to work to what you can do and what you can lift. Don't do what I can do or what anyone else can. You always work to your progression. So from here, again, line it up. I'll lift my feet, head off the bench, and rep. So each rep is nice and controlled all throughout the motion. Old chest. If you look at my elbows from a side angle, you can see that is controlled. Now I've lost count, but we kind of just want to get it to a point where you can start to feel the blood rush into the chest. And if you notice, I'm not going all the way up. I'm keeping it slightly bent at the top. Through here. Boom. Yep. So once you start to feel that pump coming in, the blood rush, another tip is this is here for a reason. So when you're loading, when you're re-racking it, don't try and be too careful like, oh, I need to get it in. Just go straight and down. So it locks in, makes it so much safer and easier. So that was the first warm-up set. I think it was like 20 reps, I don't know, could have been more. And so you can do multiple of those in order to build up. Once you feel like the shoulder's warm, if you haven't done rotator cuff exercise or anything like that, then obviously I like to spend more time warming up with more sets of that lighter weight. And as you progress, you can increase the weight and work your way up. Now, with the tricep, the reason why I say don't lock out is in terms of the elbow, is if you look at this set, right? I'll show you the difference, because this is something that heaps of people say. They're like, I get asked all the time, like, how do I make it so it hits my chest more than my tricep? My tricep burns out faster than my chest does. And a lot of the time, it'll be either you're probably loading too much weight up, like you're just going too heavy, and then you're not letting your chest actually grab hold because the chest is not strong enough or dominant enough in order to take that load. Your triceps are more dominant. So in that sense, you kind of want to veer it to a medium weight, something that you can at least feel the contraction in the chest, and you want to take out any like sorts of variables. So like variables would be the lockout. So if you look at the elbow, as soon as you lock it out, that activates. But if you keep it slightly bent and your hands are in this position here where they're a little bit wider, away from the mid-shoulder, away from the front of the shoulder, that's when now the chest has to stay in position in order to maintain that, that weight being held there instead of the tricep. So if you look at this set, I'll show you the differences. So from here, we'll do each rep with tricep lockout. So down, up, tricep lockout. So at this point here now, all the weight's in my shoulders, nothing's in my chest. You could feel my chest at this very moment in time, there's no contraction. The only contraction here that you could have is if you tense your chest, but that's not actually making any in terms of growth or progression, because then it's not a weight bearing onto that chest, it's more of just an isolated contraction that you're causing. So from here, I'll show you without the lockout. So all chest, from here, hips, chin lifted up, squeeze through those chest, every rep. So that's 10, let's go 10 more, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. And from there you can already maybe even see that my boobies have grown. So that one there, to recap, making sure that your seat is set up right, that your bench is set up right, not too far in, so at least your eyes can be level with the bar, and you're not losing any room down here where if you need to put your feet up. So if we had to break it down, that'll be 1, 2, even grip placement, making sure that you're lining it up so you're not lopsided and the weight's not going on an angle. I guess 3, where you bring the bar down to, so making sure that your elbow placement and shoulder placement is like a 60-degree angle roughly in there, because that's a safer position rather than being all the way 90 or all the way in is not, that's the safest, but then you're just going to use a lot of tricep and the chest is not going to be able to activate because it's not going to be able to get that stretch as easily. And then from there, the lockout, making sure you're not completely locking out, because every time you completely lock out and you're trying to hit chest more, that's going to get to the point that you're going to hit too much tricep. And yeah, I think that covers it. Is there anything else that I missed?
How do you know where your head's meant to be on the bench?
Yes, so that's where the eyes. It's where eyes are coming in. So you've got to make sure at this point here, that's why I was saying don't put the bench in too fast. So making sure that your head is up here, right underneath the bar with your eyes, so you don't start hitting the rack every time you're doing reps.
Your head should not be hanging off your head.
Should not be hanging off your head. No hanging off the edge in your head, making sure that it's nice and supported on the bench. But remember, you're still going to be lifting it off up at that position after you lift it off, and that's just to get your back flatter. So at least then you're able to hit more chest instead of trying to do a hyperextension through the thoracic and locking up other things that doesn't need to be locked up, or even like locking your shoulders when it shouldn't be. You need that full mobility in the shoulders in order to hit the chest the best. That's my opinion. So yeah, so now I'm going to run through, I'm going to do some working sets and show you how I fatigue out at that point, and then you can kind of see where you can trust yourself, or you go, it's too much, I need to re-rack it. So let's up it a little bit. So at this point as well, if you don't have someone with you to spot, it's always a good idea to put the safeties on, especially when you're going heavier, like the little locks. And at the same time as having the locks, you want to make sure that you set up the safeties that's going to catch it in case of anything goes wrong. All right, I've once had like 140, 160 kilos stuck in my chest and I had to roll it down. I got bruised all the way down. You don't want that, it's the worst. So be safe. I know, I'm talking about safety, I'm not even setting up. Be safe, put the safeties in. If they want to go in. Right, so working set. Yeah, get a bit. saved my shirt. I don't even know how many reps I'm gonna get, but we're gonna aim for 15. That's my goal, or 20 if I can. Doubt it, but aim high, achieve high. Ready? Off. Get in position. Oh, a little bit off balance. Recover, good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go for 2 more. Oh, see, okay, so at this point I'm really fatigued, and you can see that was a struggle. So I'm gonna try and go 1 more, but I might fail, but I might not. So I'm gonna breathe. Up. So you saw that was a bit shallow, because I knew if I went all the way down, I wouldn't have been able to get up, and then I would have got stuck. That's why it's safe to have these, because at least if that happened, this would have caught it. There's not much clearance in there because of the thickness of my upper body, but I know I still would have been able to slide out without getting crushed. But that's important. You always want to make sure that you're having that safety there if you don't have somebody behind you spotting you or anything like that. So yeah, that's bench press. Now, as you progress with your working sets, you're going to notice that each time you do it, it's going to get harder and harder to achieve those same numbers you got before unless you have a longer period of break. Now, there's a difference, I guess I should go, there's a difference between taking too long of a break or taking a tactical long break. Now for me, a tactical long break is when I'm taking a break long enough for me to be able to recover my breath, build back up so I can at least keep getting a higher and more time and attention. If you're trying to lose more body fat, I guess you would shorten those rep range, the rest time down. That's for a specific reason. That's because you want to maintain a higher heart rate. If you're trying to focus on getting more growth and more progression, for me, my tactic is have a little bit more longer break, and that will give you the chance to catch your breath back, get that little bit of a pump to relax a little bit so then you're not burning out too quick, and then you can achieve higher repetitions with the same amount of control or more, or a little bit less, but at least you're getting more time and attention. Now that's for growth. That's if you're trying to grow muscle or try to get a specific physique change. Strength-wise, completely different ball game as well. Strength, when you go into strength, it's more of having a really extended break. Reason for that is for that recovery, so you can do that 1 rep max if you're training for a 1 rep max, or if you're trying to just max load out, but you're not focusing on time and attention, you're not focusing on slowing the rep down. It's just about pumping, trying to get those reps out. So you can see I'm getting fatigued already. And I'm locking a little bit more closer to the triceps to let the triceps help a little bit at this point. So 1 more. And fail. So that was a good example. So see there, I couldn't get it all the way up. I failed, but I had the safeties up. So I didn't get trapped underneath. So now I can slide myself out. And that was a good example of why you have those safeties set up. So here, probably not the best idea to do this, unless you've got enough strength. But yeah, so that's the main thing. Making sure those safeties are set up, because if you're trying to really push yourself to that max amount, you want to try to get as much as you can out of each set. And if you think about it, that try that I did on that last set was better than me not doing no try at all. So at least that's a little bit more time and attention for that push or that weight bearing onto those muscle fibers. So I guess I'll go 1 more set. I reckon I can do maybe 5 reps on the next one, and then I'll do a drop set on that one because 5 reps is more into the strength range. I want to still go more to hypertrophy side. So I'll drop it back down to 60, and then we'll rep it out and get as many as we can to burn it out. Okay, ready. This is a good time to really get your head into it and focus. So for me, when I'm in this position and I know I'm getting fatigued, is I'll usually focus on my breathing, try and get as much oxygen as I can in, and get my mentally prepared for the set. So my little thing is that if I do heaps of breaths, and I breathe, say 10, I usually have to aim for 10 and achieve 10, or as close as I can get. Because it's kind of like stolen, but that's for the recovery. All right, ready? So here I'm having a rest because I couldn't get that. That was a 5. Whew. All right, ready? 3, 2, hup. Whew. Ouch. Now drop it down the weight. And this one's just pure reps. I put the safety on the other end? Yeah, I did. All right. Again, now focusing again, each rep. So see how my wrists are all nice and tight. I'm not bending like this and then going into weird positions. I'm keeping it so that my wrist is directly over my elbow, so that my chest can take on all the load. And in the most safest way, at least I'm getting good activation. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. 8. One more. I can get one more. Come on. Alright, I'm gonna have a quick break. I want 2 more reps. One more. I can get one more. Come on. I can get one more. Ready? So this is, I'm working to pure fatigue. There's nothing left in the tank on this. Ready? Okay. And that's pumped. Oh, goddamn. All right, so now we're gonna go to dumbbells. So I showed the technique. Okay, now in this one we've got 2 options. We can go incline or we can stay flat. And it kind of depends what you want to do. I just trained shoulders yesterday, so my shoulders are a little bit burnt out, even though it wasn't the greatest shoulder session because I'm dealing with a little bit of an impingement on my left shoulder. But at that same time, going into the incline, I'm going to hit more upper chest at that stage, but then I'm sacrificing because I will get a little bit more front delt. So I'm going to stick to flat just because it's going to give me a better chest workout. And I'm just going to run over the technique on this one because I kind of want to get into isolation. We don't have much time left. I want to get into isolation, show you isolation, what I do when I go into isolation. And as soon as I go to isolation, I isolate my upper back for rear delts. So at least then you're always working on that symmetry. All right. What weight? 24. All right, so we'll stick to a more of a lighter weight and we'll just focus on technique and pump. So from here, this is probably a really good one, is making sure you're flicking up correctly. So I see this all the time where people try to roll riddle or anything like that. Here, I like to put it towards the edge of the quad. And so see how I can do like a calf raise with it? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flick it up and then I'm gonna catch it. This especially helps when you go on really heavy because then at least you're conserving energy for the set and at least you're able to drop back with it. So I'm gonna go from here, flick it up, catch, flick it up, catch, drop back, right, and control. From here, again, remember the elbow placements we did on there, same on this one. So from here, I'm just gonna squeeze up to there. This is the thing, if you squeeze into here, remember how I said over on the bench press, as soon as we come too close and we lock the arms out, now we're just hitting tricep, we're not hitting chest. So the whole purpose of dumbbells, right, is to have the ability to have both, like, you know, more leeway. Or if you want to focus on chest more, make sure these dumbbells stay out here. So see how my elbows is the bend slightly? So from there, I'm gonna go down and up. 1, 2, 3. Peaks. Oh, I'm fatiguing out real quick. Pump is too much. Come on. I can get 2 more, I reckon. I can get 1 more. And then to make sure, this is really important, it's safer to drop a dumbbell than to do your shoulder in. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring the dumbbells down and let go of them. All right, so I'm just pushing them away from me and I'm not trying to just let my shoulder be dragged and pop out as I put it down. I'm just chucking them down, not chucking them from up here, go about hip height and throw them down that way. That way at least then you're gonna save your shoulder and you're not gonna actually dislocate your shoulder or hurt your shoulder and impinge it. I can't stress how important that is. Heaps of people, I find, kind of bad mouth for dropping weights, but it's safer. Like, you gotta think about it in the sense that if you were to try to put that weight down safely, or if you're trying to make it so you can still re-rack it, it's up to you what you want to sacrifice. You know, opinion of others or your progression. For me, I'd rather sacrifice the opinion of others because I can justify for it, because if I'm able to push to that level that there, I didn't have enough energy to try and bring it, especially if you're doing heavier weights. you're not gonna have enough energy to bring it back and drop it down safely or quietly. So at that point there, to drop it, that is the safest way. I find to drop it, to deload, get rid of it. And at least then you're able to push harder. You're able to get those extra reps and those extra sets out to the point where you're actually gonna grow a lot more and everything and get better results. So, that there. Now, usually when I go into isolation, this ain't isolation, it's still compound because obviously it's still two joints moving at the same time. But if I was good at flies, I always will go to upper back. Now for me, I had to recorrect my upper back in terms of progress on it. Like if you saw my upper back a few years ago, it was nowhere near to how it's developed at the moment. And that's because like a lot of us who went into the fitness industry or people when if you first start out, you focus on the bigger muscle groups and you kind of forget about those little small ones or the more important ones, which I find that is really, really important, especially for posture. So at that point there, you would always focus on the big ones when you first start out, which is chest, is a push movement, and then you'll focus on back, which is a row. But a lot of times the row is going to be this row here, where it's more thickness for the lats instead of it being upper back. So for me, what I like to do is as soon as I go in chest, I always do upper back with chest because it just makes sense. You do more push movements in life rather than doing pull movements. So at this point here, I'm gonna do the rear W's. So this is a little bit heavier, but it's still fresh on the upper back for it, so I can kind of get that weight. So I'm gonna do here is just pull it straight to my face. So from here and throw it, it's like throwing a cup of water over your shoulder. So from here, back down, up, 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 up. So if you notice, my abs are controlled, my core's locked in, and I'm focusing on my upper back. It's similar to face pulls. If you've done face pulls before, so just with dumbbells, and a lot more emphasis on the exterior rotation, which is going to hit that rear delt. So as you can see, rear delt, rear delt, rear delt. Woo. And you can see the definition through the upper back. At least then you're able to get those rear delts. And then that's going to give you more of a balance, because if you're always doing a push movement and everything to do with push, you're really missing out on the upper back, and then you're going to end up like this. And that's not a good look, nor is it good for your neck, your back. It's going to lead to a lot of issues. So for me, my biggest tip is if you do chest, always incorporate upper back as much as you can within that chest training. And yeah. Any questions? Did I hit over anything? Do you want me to run over anything in particular? Keep recording.
How do you know your form's right when you do rear W's, like bent knees, like shoulders?
Okay, so form on rear W's. I'll grab a lighter dumbbell for this one. Time is a bigger time. So I'll grab 5s. Huh? Yeah, alright, so form on rear W's is I'm making sure I have feet shoulder width apart, so I'm at my most stable point. I'm gonna go soft knees, right? And I'm gonna bend at the hips. So I'm not staying up here trying to go this way up here. You need to kind of get that angle. And if you look at the shoulder, if I stand by there, you can see that that is a dip that travels down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that, because that's safe for the shoulder, we're doing side raises. Same if we're doing rear delt, we need it because that's to hit the side, because if you stayed here and lift it up, you're gonna hit the front, you can see my front delt. So from here, I'm gonna lean that side. I'm gonna go rear, I'm gonna bend a little bit further, because we're working with dumbbells, so we're working with gravity, everything goes down. So if you go up here, you're not gonna get much gravity onto the upper back of those rear delts. So if I lean forward a bit, from the hips, making sure my core is activated, so it's supporting my lower back and everything, here, and always use mirrors. They're in the gym for a reason, so use the mirrors so you can actually see what you're doing. You know, you're not perving on yourself, you just wanna make sure that you're doing it right. So from here, I'm gonna watch, bend down into position, and make everything neutral, and now I'm going to pull to my face from here. Now, if you look at my upper back, I can protract my shoulders and let them drop and retract them. So you can see my shoulder blades are moving at that point there. Right, so the whole purpose is to get more movement through your shoulder blades. If you just want rear delts, you can do these ones. So I'm gonna protract my shoulders and I'm gonna do flies. So that's just rear delts, as you can see, right? But if I wanna get upper back involved, I can do rear W's, which is gonna get the rear delts and the upper back, and go here. Shoulders, back, squeeze. So I don't know if you can see it with my shirt on, but At that point there, I'm able to also get my upper back. Woo. And it burns even with 5 kilos, you don't even have to go heavy. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more. 1. It burns, it burns. Okay, so that technique. Was that clear? Sound good? Okay, so I reckon we'll go another set into these, and then I'm gonna go into isolation. I know there's only 2 sets, but my chest is really pumped, and I kinda wanna get the isolation in to show you how to do flies, because I'm running on a tight schedule. So, let's go again. Back. From here, remember to get that position, straight up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, come on. And remember to push yourself. 10, 9, come on. 8, 7, 6, getting fatigued. Oh, come on. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, safe drop. There you go. Right, I'm gonna do a drop set on these ones. Just try and fatigue myself out, get a little bit more out of it. From here, again, probably get 10 or so, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's fatigued. So if you saw there, my glutes were activating to make sure that I'm not using my lower back to support my core. My abs were activated, so it supported my core. And my glutes are the one that's carrying my torso. So if you look at it, I don't know if you've seen it in the last, that set there. Let's say if you watch this one, might not be as much doing because it's really light compared to doing those for rear Ws. But from here, if you look, my glutes can activate and that carries me. These are my glutes tensing. I'm gonna tense my last, ready? Tense, tense, tense. See how it drags my upper body up? So from here, I'm gonna let those contract so that now everything's supporting everything, and let's go. How many reps do you get? 1, 2, 3. Oh, remember to check your mirrors. 6, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's burning. 9, come on, let's get it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 1. Oh, sorry, it was a little bit of a drop. Okay, so if you saw that, glutes were activated, carrying me, rear delts are definitely pumped, and upper back is definitely being worked. I guess one other thing I want to talk about is breathing when I get my breath back. Woo. All right, so with the breathing technique, as you can hear, because I'm wearing a mic, when I'm going through the hard phase is when more air is coming out, I'm not breathing in, I'm breathing out. When I'm really trying to push as much as I can, I hold my breath. And that's gonna give you a lot more strength. Here's a scientific breakdown, I won't get into it. But if you want to ask for it, and I'll give it to you. But at that point then, when you hold your breath, you're able to exert a lot more energy, a lot more strength. And then if you listen or saw, I breathe out just as I finish the rep to get that little hit. And usually with those rear Ws, it was as I come up there. And if you see, as I breathe out, I'm able to get that a little bit more of a oomph. So breathing's very important because you can actually lose a lot of strength if your breathing's off. So if you're breathing in on the hard phase, doing the movement that's hardest at that time, you're gonna lose out on a lot. If you're breathing out, you're actually gonna get a little bit more out of it. And especially if you hold your breath on those really hard ones, it's gonna work a lot better. So it's timing. You'll find your timing that works best with you. Everyone's a little bit different, I find. But it's still the same black and white rule with making sure breathing out for hard, breathing in on the, let's call it the eccentric phase. Concentric phase, if you want to get into the nitty gritties, which is the push phase or the pull phase of when it's being the most energy needed to make the movement, breathe out. When you're resetting, coming back, breathe in, all right? All right, so now we'll go over to flies, some isolation. Oh. Repping my Superman t-shirt today. The Clark Kent look. Oh, so again, lifting off the ground, I should say, is very important, especially if you're lifting a heavier weight that you're not used to. Your lower back can be blown out anytime, so always be safe. So squatting down with it, trying to get as much support as you can. If you've got to lean back like this and actually do a squat to lift it, do so. You'll find, like say that I could get away with a little bit of a slight kick. Not saying that it's good, it's not good, try to not do that. But if I was to lift the 50s or 60s or something like that off the ground, I'd definitely be going into a full proper squat technique in order to lift it. And at least using your legs to lift instead of being your lower back. Like, safe work practices, guys, come on, you know? All right, let's go to isolation. All right, so this one here, you don't have to go super heavy, you can go kind of good, what?
Here or there?
Wherever you want, yeah. Oh, well, you're gonna be in front here, I'm facing this way, yeah. So what's that? Yeah. All right, so make sure these line up, there's numbers on them. So that's 8, and there's 1 hole there, 8, 1 hole there. So I think that's in the 10 hole, 9. Okay, 10, so that's 8, 9, 10.
How do you know how to adjust that to your height?
So this is all angles. So you can muck around with angles. There's a lot of give where your height is, because you can also incorporate the factor of hips, how much you bend or anything like that, how you place yourself. So if you look at this one, where I'm gonna put myself here, whoa. So this point, again, a lot of people, you'll step out and you can do your reps here, and that is not even weight. Make sure it's even weight. So here, step out. So again, you can step out here and you can do your rep. Soft knees, soft hips, leaning on those heels as well, balancing yourself out, and then dragging these to the center, making sure your elbows are being dragged in and not hands. If you do these ones, look at that amount of range I'm losing in my chest. But from out here, see how much chest contraction there is in compared. So from there, squeeze. So again, this is where knowing the right height is subjective, because you can always change your movement through how you stand. You can stand here and squeeze downwards. This is a really good one. Through here, and then at least then you can set these up higher to get that better stretch, or you could have them all the way down. And again, with the angle, is that there, Sam? The angle, I'll go down to 4, okay. 4, 5, 6, okay. With the angle, it depends where in the chest you want to hit. Do you want to hit more lower chest? Do you want to hit more overall chest, or do you want to hit more upper chest? Depending on the angle is going to be where you're going to hit that chest. So again here, if I want to just hit all chest or lower chest, as they say, you can go from here and see how I'm a little bit more angled up. So when I squeeze, I'm squeezing down, right? If I want to hit the whole pec and chest, well, pec is chest. If I want to hit the whole one, I'm just going to go more flat, right? If I want to hit more upper chest, I can step forward with this now and go here and see how I squeeze up there. Here, squeeze up. All right, you can always angle yourself. I need a little bit more lean to get more upper chest, do more scoop, and go here. See? And that's gonna let me hit upper chest. Oh, it's all direction. 6, I think I've lost count, but I think that's 7, 8, 9. So if you look at it, I'm focusing on bringing my elbows in. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then again, if I want to hit all chest, you can superset this. Here, 2, 3. Whoa. Come on, left pec. So I'm making sure both are activating. Okay, that burnt. So see there, different angles change different positions of the chest. If you're going in this position up here, you're gonna hit more upper chest. So you can see the upper chest there. Oops, let me recollect that one. Yeah, so over here, that's more upper chest. So obviously if I'm going in that direction, I don't know if you can see it in there, that's whole upper chest. Or we got old chest in general. So yeah, so different angles, lower chest. And then this is where I said rear delts and rear delts. I'm gonna grab some dumbbells. Actually no, I'll show you a row instead. Because we already did rear W's. already showed you those, and I did show you a rear fly in a sense in order rear delts. So sure, what time is it? Okay, I got 2 minutes. What my next client is. Woo! All right, let's go. Now this one, you don't have to go super heavy. Medium weight, I think 40 should be good for me. You can go heavier if you got more strength, or lighter if you, if that works better with you with the rep range you're aiming for. For me, I want to get between 10 and 20. So again, we're gonna closed grip, and on this closed grip, I'm gonna focus on making sure that it's just firm. I'm not trying to drag in and bend my elbow, bend my wrist, or anything like that. Just from here, chest up. So if you see I'm in a supported position, I'm gonna push through my heels and slide back on the bench. And now I'm nice and supported. So again, you look at my upper back, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. And this one here, as I contract, I'm gonna pull my elbows back. There, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. So focusing on pushing your elbows behind you is always a good one, because at least then you're able to actually activate the back. Instead of thinking to pull the bar close to your chest, you're gonna do these ones. If you keep focusing on your fatigue out and you keep focusing on pulling that bar, this grip to your chest, you're gonna do these. Because then you're focusing on trying to get it to your chest. But if you focus on pushing the elbows back behind you, then you're actually gonna get the upper back to activate a lot easier. I don't know what I'm up to, but I'm gonna get 10, 9, 8, 6. Again, glutes are helping me out on this one to stabilize me. Oh, so that can be a 2-part movement. On that one there, if you're just starting out and you want to get it right, making sure you squeeze your shoulder blades back, and then you push your elbows behind you, and then as you come forward, you're letting everything come forward and protracting so the shoulder blades open up, and then you're going to hit more of your rhomboids, you're going to hit more of your trap, lower to mid trap, and that rear delts and everything like that is going to come into play as well. As you can see, you don't need much to get a sweat on. I'm not at my fittest at the moment, so forgive me. But as you can tell, I run out of breath really easy. But within that, it's about intensity. Even with a little bit longer breaks, you can still have super amount of intensity compared to shorter breaks. And in saying that, it all depends on your technique. If you have a little bit more break, you're able to maintain better technique. If you're going for the shorter breaks, try to do exercises that are more body weight. So at least then you're not throwing your body out in the sense of having a variable such as a weight that could really cause injury if you're working towards that extreme fatigue. Because again, when you get super fatigued, you're not letting yourself rest, your technique is gonna plummet. And if your technique is plummeting, you're gonna kind of eliminate any variables that's gonna give like an injury. So yeah, so when we're working with resistance training, in that sense of where we're bearing weight onto it, keep it safe, have your little bit longer breaks, focus on your breathing, everything like that, and at least then your technique's always gonna be much better. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna try and do another set before I treat my next client, but I'll have more videos out soon. Thanks.